Good afternoon. It is May 2nd, 2021 at 3:01 p.m. Welcome to the San Marino Unified School District Board of Education special meeting. Here is your board president, Shelley Ryan.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you as you join us for this special session on May 2nd. All meetings of the school board, Board of Education are open to members of the public unless publicly noticed as a confidential closed session as followed by the law. Members of the public may address the board as outlined in the public comment section of the agenda. The audio of all meetings is recorded. A member of the public may be held liable for any slanderous or otherwise defamatory statements. In consideration of the board and members of the audience, please turn off or silence your cell phones while in the meeting. The San Marino Unified School District encourages those with disabilities to participate fully in the public meeting process. If you need a disability-related modification or accommodation, including auxiliary aids or services to participate in the public meeting, contact the assistant to the superintendent at jdelatorre@smusd.us. Extension 1310 at our number is 299-7000. At least 48 hours prior to the scheduled board meeting so that we may take every reasonable effort to accommodate you. Documents provided to a majority of the Board of Education regarding an open session item on this agenda will be made available for the public inspection. There are no documents, and so there will be none published. But on the website, you will see that there will be a recording of this meeting. In addition, such writings and documents that may be reviewed or may be viewed by the districts will be viewed at the district's website at www.smusd.us. With this open session, I would like to call to order and ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, Stephen, would you like to lead?
My pleasure. Hand over your heart. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Choi. May I have approval of the agenda? This is an action item.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Mrs. Chung. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Barbary. Let me do roll call. Mr. Chang?
Aye.
Mr. Barbary?
Aye.
Mrs. Chung?
Aye.
Ms. Chan Lin?
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan? Aye. And the motion passes for the approval of the agenda. Now we're in item 5, which is the public comment section. This is an informational item. The Board of Education has adopted Board Policy 9323B to ensure the public's right to be heard in any matters pertaining to the San Marino Unified School District. Persons who wish to provide public comment have 2 options to submit public comments. Submit through online form, request to speak during the meeting via question and answer, and phone dial-in. Please submit an online form. The public was asked to submit public comments for the closed session item on May 2nd. The public may from 10 o'clock through 2:30. Comments received during this time will not be read during the meeting, but will be provided to the Board of Education. Ms. Delatorre has texted me that she is forwarding. There were 4 comments sent to the board, and she's sending them to you now. You may have already received it. And so public comments through question and answer during the meeting. There will be opportunity for the public to offer comments before the closed session for items on the agenda. The Board of Education reserves the right to add a public comment period prior to any individual item on the agenda. 5 minutes may be allotted to each speaker, maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. However, the event that there are more than 4 speakers on the same subject matter, the board president retains the discretion to adjust and limit the subject matter. Board president will allocate for each speaker to ensure that all wishing to speak will be heard within the 20-minute allotted time. During public comment, the meeting will pause for 1 minute to take requests to speak. Raise your hand function is used to take requests during the public comment section and comments. Then the raise your hand function is used to take requests during the public comment period. Online attendees, press the raise your hand icon, add yourself to the queue. For phone attendees, dial *9. The speaking order will be determined based on the order of requests received. The individual speakers will be unmuted and then called upon to speak. Section 5A, communication from the audience regarding matters on the agenda are to be made at this time. This is an informational item. Dr. Choi.
Thank you, President Ryan. We'll pause the meeting for 1 minute to take requests to speak on matters that are on the agenda. So if you would like to speak, go ahead and press the raise hand icon now on your screen. If you are joining us by phone, please dial *9 to join the queue. We have 30 seconds remaining. If you would like to speak, please press the raise hand icon or dial *9. Okay, President Ryan, looks like we have 5 requests to speak. Do we have to adjust the speaking time limit?
4 minutes, please, Dr. Choi.
Or can we clarify that we are only taking these speakers today and there will not be any additional speakers taken since the time has been closed?
Yes, that is correct, Ms. Chong.
Thank you.
Okay. Our first speaker will be Mr. Michael Kalaki.
Thank you very much, President Ryan and members of the board for allowing me to speak. Please consider the following in recognizing that Dr. De La Torre should be the next superintendent of San Marino Unified School District. Dr. De La Torre is not just an assistant superintendent. She's 2 for the price of 1 and is qualified to be a superintendent. I've spoken with many people across our community, teachers, people within our teachers union, and community members, and all of them have agreed unanimously that Dr. De La Torre is qualified to be a superintendent. It is my prediction that if we do not hire her, somebody else will. Dr. De La Torre will be a superintendent in the next 6 to 12 months. The question is whether it will be here or somewhere else. So let's look at the potential of whether it's somewhere else. If passed over, she will and likely leave, and we will have at that point a district office with only 1 administrator who has held a position in the district for more than a few months. We will have 4 campuses with 4 principals and 2 assistant principals, but only one of those 6 people will have ever been a principal at their campus with an entire student body and staff actually present on their campus. I'm not saying that these people are not competent. In fact, they are competent, but I am saying it is a highly volatile, highly unstable situation in our district. And we do not have a long-term working knowledge with historical institutional knowledge of who we have been, how we got to the top, how we've stayed to the top, and how we can continue to be at the top. And then we also have a community who over the last few elections has clearly stated that they're not going to fund facilities and they're not going to fund teachers. That's highly concerning. Things may change on June 29th, but we don't know that. So we do then have dozens of teachers that are potentially going to be gone from our district. Our district, over the last few superintendents, has not attracted actual superintendents. We have attracted people who are willing to take the risk. But risk is not stable. And when it comes to the education of my children and every child in the district, we don't want more instability than needed. So let's look within, see the talent we have, and make the right choice. We have a long-term working relationship with Dr. De La Torre as the negotiator with our unions, and to our teachers, who I truly respect and hold the highest admiration for. I would say that Dr. De La Torre is not a devil, but even if you had concerns, then you should consider the fact that the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And when we're talking about somebody that has had decades of experience and years of working in negotiations with our unions, making it work, we need to have somebody that can make it work with our teachers and our staff. I have held management positions for many years, and I can spot a flight risk. And more importantly, I can spot a qualified candidate. And here we have both. When I speak to the community, everybody recognizes she is a long-standing member of our district who is highly qualified. Stability in a highly volatile situation is crucial, and that is what we need. So finally, I would also say that for any person who says that we should slow down and consider a complete evaluation process, I would say, what have we been doing for the last 31 years? Dr. De La Torre has been in our district, has been evaluated by management, looked at by our board, considered and kept as part of our team for 31 years. What more evaluation do we need? What more do we need to learn about this highly qualified candidate? So for the sake of my children and every child in our district and every child that will be in our district, please immediately consider hiring this highly qualified candidate so that she does not leave and it results in more instability for our children. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have San Marino Teachers Association. Your line is now open.
Thank you, Dr. Choi. This is Letitia Aranda speaking. And thank you, Mr. Kalaki, for your words. I am in agreement with Mr. Kalaki. We do not need more instability. I am in agreement with Mr. Kalaki in that Dr. De La Torre has been with us for a long time. She knows who we are. She knows how we function. She knows our past. And I'm sure that if she is selected, she will work with us to move forward. I understand that there is a concern about the timing. I am so glad that people are here and that they have an opportunity to speak and to share views. This is also part of what is necessary in a healthy environment. We need people to express concerns. We need people to express ideas. And we also need to know that the decisions that the board makes will wholeheartedly be supported by our teachers union and by our teachers and our administrators. We also respect the process. The board has at its discretion what the process looks like. There's nothing set in stone that says we have to do A, B, and C, and we have to do it in 1 day or 3 days or 3 weeks. We love Linda. Linda is part of us. We are all in this together. The more open we are about sharing ideas, the more open and inclusive we are, into hearing opinions, concerns, and ways to move forward, the more successful we will be. The more successful we will be. I agree that Dr. De La Torre is experienced and qualified. I know no other person in the district office who works harder. I also know that with change comes worry and concerns. And I know that as we're given an opportunity to share, people feel better because they are heard and they are considered. Again, thank you for this second meeting. We trust that you will consider the things people have to say and weigh them. And I just want you to know that we will sustain the district, we will sustain our leaders, and we just need to make sure that we have everyone in the boat before we move forward. And for even those naysayers, whatever side they might be on,
30 seconds.
it's our responsibility to make sure that people feel heard and understood, and know that we're all in it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Zilla Tobiano. Zilla, your line is now open.
Thank you, board members. I'm representing my co-parents who are no longer in the school districts, or some are in the private sectors. And I was asked to speak on all of our behalves. We are nominating Dr. Michael Lin to be an interim superintendent, and we would like to be heard furthermore in the near future for our future superintendent for the school district. Just like our previous speakers, we understand that change is difficult, that there has so much instability that has gone through the district in the recent past. And with the instability that happened with the last Measure E, we want to make sure that the community, who are also part of the San Marino community that are not in the school district, would be heard, and the validity of their concerns would also be heard for this school district. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And we would like to be able to converse with our school board members more in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Marguerite Lindsay. Marguerite, your line is now open.
Good afternoon, President Ryan and board members. My name is Marguerite Lindsay, and this afternoon, I'd like to give the message of, yes, please do slow down. Please do engage all stakeholders. Please involve an impartial consultant to vet out multiple candidates, thus providing a legal competitive process to protect all parties from future lawsuits and/or complaints of biases. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Susie Lee. Susie, your line is now open.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. First off, I'd like to say thank you to the board for your leadership during this very challenging chapter in our district's story. I did also want to take the time to thank Dr. Wilson for his service the past 2 years. I'm only a parent in this district, and even as a parent, I can see that Dr. Wilson had a tough job coming into SMUSD, and it was compounded by the fact that we had a global pandemic. Thank you also to Ms. Lisa Link's Friday's comment regarding choosing Dr. Linda Della Torre as a potential new superintendent. While I agree with everyone here that's spoken, that installing someone who knows San Marino culture, who can hit the ground running with the staying potential, I mean, that's all very important. But I still believe we need to go through a full vetting process using an impartial third party to review all qualified candidates. I'm just using federal hiring protocols as an example, but all hirings must be competitive, even if the most qualified candidate is literally staring you in the face. This actually protects all stakeholders, including the students, the parents, our teachers, as well as the board. If after going through a full impartial vetting process, and if Dr. Della Torre emerges as a clear candidate, then there will be no question about her ability going forward. And I think even for every single board member that is occupying a seat right now, each and every one of you went through a vetting process, but by the community. We should settle for nothing less than conducting a thorough due diligence of multiple qualified candidates to ensure that San Marino gets the best person to lead our children and our teachers. And as Ms. Link had stated, a superintendent profile was developed in our search for the last superintendent. There are 40 applicants for which the board were able to choose from. It would be worthwhile to reach out to those stakeholders who helped develop the superintendent profile just to ensure that that profile is still relevant. Because after all, a lot has changed in these past 2 years. I think in the meantime, I urge the board to install an interim superintendent that is not a potential candidate for the superintendent position. And this is important to ensure that there is an unbiased review of all potential candidates for this position for the long run. And again, I thank the board members for your service. It is clear you have all not had an easy couple of months. And we as a community, I think we can make this board's job a lot easier, as well as the new incoming superintendent, if we all just band together and pass Measure E. And so with that, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Thank you. And that concludes all of those that have requested to speak.
Thank you, Dr. Choi. All right, we are convening to closed session. Does everybody have the closed session Zoom link? Yes, all right. Dr. Choi, if you can stay close by text, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops.
Am I in the right spot?
Dr. Choi, are you ready?
We are ready. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Choi, and members of the school board. Thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. We have been shortly convened in a closed session. We heard a number of individual callers, and we thank everyone for calling in and for staying active and engaged. We thank you everyone for their comments and their time. We are hearing that the community would like us to continue to slow it down and really put more effort into the process. And so with that, the Board of Education took no action today in closed session, and we are going to present a timeline in which we will accomplish some of our tasks at the next scheduled board meeting. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.